Hey guys, today I'm testing the 2018 Genesis G80. This is the rear-wheel drive 3.3T Sport. It is painted in Polar Ice, which is this really cool bluish green. I love the color on this thing. I think it looks badass. The 3.3-liter V6 has 365 horsepower. That's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is rated at 17 city, 25 highway, and 20 mpg combined. The total price on this is $56,225. That includes destination. Let's take a look in the back seat here. Really nice solid feel to the door close there. You have these manually operated sunshades, which are nice. And a really nice premium airy cabin feel back here. I love this panoramic sunroof. You've got Alcantara, little coat hanger, bars to hold on to under hard cornering. Really nice kind of orange stitching in the carbon fiber. This is a real carbon fiber. You can actually faintly feel the weave in there. A little bit of storage behind the seats. And you've got this center armrest with a button that raises the rear shade, which is always nice. Really comfy back here. A lot of legroom, set to my seating position at 5'10". I've got plenty of space back here. We've got the Lexicon sound system, which sounds fantastic. I love this color. And these wheels look good too. There's all these kind of neat metallic accents to this car. These center caps are really neat. Apparently they turn. You've got this Genesis LED lighting system here with really neatly designed headlights. A little bit of an intake here on the grille. You've got your radar guided cruise control stuff on the front. Radars up here as well. Nice big brakes. They fill on these 19-inch wheels quite well. So I've had this car for a few days. I wanted to give some initial driving impressions. So it's interesting. The more I've driven this, the more I've enjoyed it. I've really started to warm up to this car a lot. And you kind of have to take it for what it is. So this isn't necessarily, it's a sport, but it isn't necessarily a really sporty drive. This is more of a luxury car with kind of a sporty appearance, look, and trim package. Yes, it has the adaptive suspension. It has some neat little features here and there, but ultimately, open differential. It's got a great engine. It handles well. The dynamics are nice. This is a little bit more of a subdued, luxurious car, and I like that. It still drives really well. It's quick enough. It's really smooth, really quiet, really refined, and there are a lot of high points that make me really like this G80. Primarily, the first thing you notice is when you get in this car, all of the ergonomics, everything you touch, seems to be just in the right place. The cruise control is really easy to operate. You have a hold, you can hold it and jump up 5 miles per hour. You've got all these menus here that are very, you can control heads-up display, all these different settings. You can see all the info that you need, different trips. I've been averaging around 22 miles to the gallon, about 25 on the highway. Good amount of storage. You can fit an iPhone Plus in here. USB and auxiliary ports there. I like the shift action of the transmission. Really nice high-res display. You can see the backup cameras. You've got this 360 view here. The mirrors kind of tilt down a little bit to see what you're showing, and you have really great visibility throughout the surround of the car. You also have heated and cooled seats. All the buttons are nice. The touch points are great. A little bit more storage in the center console here. And you have this panoramic sunroof up here, which is great. A lot of things in this work very well. So we'll talk about this once we get on the highway, but I've been really impressed with the radar guided cruise control. This is an exceptional system in the marketplace. I think this is one of the better systems out there, honestly. It's really smooth. It doesn't drive erratically. It kind of works with the flow of traffic. If someone cuts in front of you, it's not going to stop quickly. And that's just nice. It's great to have a car that works well with these systems. The lane departure is just basically a warning when you leave your lane. It's not an autopilot system, but the radar-guided cruise control works so well that it's just, I use it all the time, and there aren't any downsides to it that I have found so far. The suspension on this is great. It kind of errs on the side of comfort, but it does adapt once you throw it into the corner. It has a pretty good amount of grip. This does have an open differential, so you are going to be blowing the tires off just a little bit because this 3.3 liter V6 does have some power to it. The transmission is super fast. The shifts are just super crisp, really quick. It almost feels like a dual clutch. You're definitely not lacking in terms of power. The paddle shifters are responsive. They don't have a super premium feel to them. They are just buttons, but they respond really quickly, and they have kind of a satisfying, sporty feel to it. There isn't a full manual mode in the shifter, but you can basically control the paddles as soon as you downshift or upshift. It'll hold that gear for you, which is great. And then you hold the right paddle to put it back into drive. It's a little bit windy today, so we're going to be getting a little bit more wind noise than we would typically. But I've noticed this is just a super, super quiet car cruising on the highway. It's really comfortable. It's very smooth. I love the steering weight. The steering wheel feels really nice. It's a very smooth, soft leather. And I like the shape. This is kind of a sporty wheel. It's a smaller wheel size, which kind of makes this car feel a little bit quicker to turn in and just a little bit more dynamically enjoyable. This G80 hits kind of a sweet spot. It's not as big of a car as the G90, and it's really enjoyable to drive. I would like to see a limited slip differential for just a little bit extra performance. I remember the G80 5.0 was just kind of a beast. That was a really fun car to drive. And this twin turbo engine is nice, but it doesn't quite have the character of the V8. But it does have a smoothness and just kind of a surge to it that gives it just a little bit more of a luxurious feel compared to 5-liter V8 G80s. So I was talking a little bit earlier about the infotainment. Hyundai is rocking it with their infotainment these days. It's a high-res, fast, responsive, aesthetically pleasing system. The navigation looks nice. A lot of the menus are easy to navigate. It's just a very well-designed system. And I really, really do appreciate that, because it's something that definitely Lexus and Toyota could be working on right now. A lot of other manufacturers are kind of doing weird things. They haven't quite found their own in their infotainment systems, and Hyundai has really figured it out. It's also touchscreen, so you can adjust there. But everything just has a nice immediacy to that, and that's a big plus. Also, to add on to that, the sound system in this car is fantastic. Fortunately, I won't be able to play anything for you, but you're just going to have to take my word that the sound system does work really, really well on this car. I'll show you a quick example of turning radius. One thing I will notice, this car is really, really quiet 90% of the time, and every now and then over some rougher pavement you do get some rattles in the back. I'm not sure if that's just some trim. This is a press car. It's had a hard life with 7,000 miles on it, I'm sure. But NVH is great, except there is just a little bit of plastic rattling in this particular press vehicle. You can feel the suspension stiffen up just a little bit under cornering. These brakes work really well. This is really a fun car to drive and operate. There's a substantial difference between eco and sport modes. Eco just kind of, it's almost like a comfort mode where everything calms down, and in sport mode everything just kind of sharpens up a little bit. One thing to note is, like a lot of Cadillac products these days, if you're doing any hard cornering or dipping into traction control or experiencing any significant G's around a corner, the seatbelt's going to tighten up. It doesn't quite choke you as much as the Cadillacs do, depending on if you're into that or not, I don't know, but this is just it gives you a light hug, and you're not going to be taking this car to track days, but if you were, that would be kind of annoying. But it is an interesting safety feature, just to tell you, come on, slow down, you're driving like an idiot. We're going to tighten up the seatbelt just to make sure you're safe. I love the responsiveness of these paddles. It seems to be pretty liberal with giving you downshifts, which is nice. There's no beeps. One of the better automatics that I've driven, this 8-speed, is fantastic. There's no hunting through gears on the highway or anything. It's just smooth, gives you power, and it doesn't need a lot of revs or downshifts to do that because it has so much torque and throughout the rev band. It does have a 2-stage accelerator pedal where if you push it all the way down, you'll hit this bump and it'll give you even more of a downshift, but really you can get as much power out of you as you need out of it before then. Just a nice surge of acceleration. The engine doesn't really sound like a whole lot, but it's just so quiet. There's something to be said about effortless, quiet surges of acceleration. So many manufacturers these days are piping engine noise and all these sounds into the cabin, and this doesn't have that. So here we go. Here's an example of radar guided cruise control. We're following a slow vehicle. We're going to merge over here, not touching anything, and it's going to accelerate at a pretty decent rate here. It's not going to hold anyone up to 70 miles an hour. It's a system that works really well in practice. I find myself getting very comfortable with this system a lot. I love all the information that you see in the heads-up display. It'll tell you if you have people in your blind spot. It'll tell you, your distance, for your following distance, the speed limit, the speed that you're going. If you're exceeding the speed limit, it'll give you just a little bit of a flash on the speed limit sign to let you know that you're speeding. Let's give you a little downshift on the highway here. So revs it up to about 3,500 RPM, and that's all you need. If you push the accelerator all the way down, it's going to give you the lowest gear possible. Honestly, unless if you really, really need it, it's not necessary to go into that all the time. But it does have a nice immediacy. There isn't a lot of lag or delay between shifts, and it's a responsive transmission, which is really, really important for an automatic. Something I experienced early on in driving this car that I haven't seen crop up since. It only happened a couple times, and I'm not sure why, but I figured I would mention it. There seemed to be an issue with accelerating in first gear and the transmission not quite shifting quick enough into second, and it would hold the revs for just maybe about half a second or so before shifting into second gear. Kind of a weird issue. I tried to duplicate it the other day and I wasn't able to. And I haven't really seen it pop up since. So maybe it was just kind of a strange thing that happened. Maybe they disconnected the battery before giving me the car. But otherwise, the transmission has been really, really good. The programming on this has been fantastic for daily use. The only time I noticed it was an issue was when I was doing a 0 to 60 test. And I haven't seen it happen since, so... a second gear tire fire there. This could really use a limited slip differential. You guys can correct me on this in the comments. I'm not sure if there's one offered from the factory. If there is, I would definitely opt for it. The other day I was struggling just with some Spirit acceleration in the rain. The tires on this have decent grip, but they are all seasons, and you're not going to get a ton of traction in cold or wet weather. We'll let these guys go here. An all-wheel drive variant would definitely have a lot more confidence to and really be able to put the power down. Eco mode is really nice. Honestly, I've kind of been bouncing back between Eco and normal when driving this car for most of my time in it. Eco keeps the revs under 2,000 RPM. It has these really quick shifts. It's a barely noticeable change between gears. It keeps the car really quiet and smooth. It doesn't dumb down the accelerator too much. It's a very comfortable way of driving this car. And I assume that it's a little bit more economical as well. Really nice ride quality over bumps. Genesis is just, they're rocking it with these latest offerings. This is a really great car. I appreciate the fact that it has just a premium and luxurious feel to it. So all of these buttons, it's kind of a, it's not quite a tacky rubber, but it's a grippy, solid rubber. Everything has about the same, you need to apply about the same amount of pressure to all the inputs and controls, and it gives the car a consistency and a feeling of quality throughout. I don't think the interior design is up to the same level of Lexus, but the feel and just the quality, overall quality of the car feels pretty similar. All the driver inputs are just really nice. I like the steering wheel, I like the shifter. Just the way it feels is very nice. But I appreciate that you have buttons for everything. You can very quickly scroll through channels. You can tune with a tune knob. It's very easy to flip through channels quickly. Volumes right here. You've got another volume on the steering wheel. Overall, this is just so far it's been a very enjoyable and easy car to live with. Make a really good daily driver. It's got great visibility, nice performance, it's fun to drive, and it just has a good feel to it. It's relaxing, it's comfortable, and you get a pretty nice warranty too. So anyway guys, that about sums up my initial thoughts. Originally I wasn't as crazy about this car because I was expecting some kind of a performance powerhouse, but that's not necessarily what this is. It's a good looking car. I think the proportions are just about right. I love these wheels. I like the color. It's just a nice package. For 55 grand, you can't go wrong. You really, really can't. So I think you're getting a good amount of car for your money. You've even got these cool headlights here. See what the turn signals look like. Quad exhausts with a little bit of a diffuser there. So yeah, anyway, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Might do another video on this week. We'll probably throw something up on Winding Road as well, but until then, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys later.